Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 1295. This is Blind Magic in Alice Springs, and I am your presenter and host, Murray Stewart. It's been a while, folks. Yes, it has, but here I am back with you. A great win by the Saints last night puts me in a good mood, but I have been a little bit betwixt and between lately. Yeah, I have, and last night I was a bit keen to put down an episode, but I was just on the periphery of another brain episode. Yeah, I do have, I'm sure you know, what are we calling it? Post-stroke epilepsy. Yeah, I'm a bit of a time bomb, everyone. I am. A seizure or a seizure-like episode can happen any minute, but I am beginning to learn more and more about when, if I'm a little bit overtired or anxious. They seem to be the key moments when things can start going awry. You know, it's extraordinary that the National Disability Insurance agencies seem to be rinsed full of people who make decisions who have no lived experience with disability. And they appear to be the people who make, if I can use this term, the bad calls. Yeah, they are. If you have never walked in a man's shoes, how do you expect to know how someone feels who has a disability? I have been talking to a chap lately, g'day Paul, if you're listening, who does have a disability, and finally someone who speaks with common sense. Yeah, look, I have not been up until now down on the agency. No, I haven't. In fact, I've been rather complimentary. But the decision lately to deny me 24-hour support does concern me. It does. Not so much for me alone, but for all those out there who do have disabilities which are life-threatening. Yeah, I mean, my disability, having epilepsy now, is most definitely life-threatening. You will know that I have had an experience where it was only a support worker who saved me ultimately by begging, pleading for help to come in the form of CPR, 7 minutes of, and then followed up with the defib machine. Yeah, I had a wonderful support worker, and I've got no doubt if it wasn't for her, and of course the wonderful first aiders, I would not be here. And so now, with all of that history, to have me completely exposed at night time flies in the face of reality. But I intend being around for a while yet. Yes, I do. And if I'm not, then it will be up to my family to take up the battle with the NDIA, because it will absolutely come down to the decision they have made in the face of all of the evidence. It's really crazy if you think about it that someone who, in my position, who virtually is a walking time bomb, can be left to their own devices in this home that has all of the hard surfaces. But yeah, I'm taking provisions. Don't you worry. I'm remaining positive. And yeah, as I said, I will always be a person who ultimately is grateful for the support that I have had and continue to have, although less of it. And I am praying a lot that the good Lord will continue looking down on me in order that I am going to be safe for now and into the future. But whoa, I'm not sure. I do think that the National Disability Insurance Agency needs to have a look at its decision-making structure and the training of those who are making decisions that ensures that those making decisions can in some way put themselves in someone else's position, like mine. Difficult, I know, but not impossible. I know that even when I do these podcasts, I try so hard to ensure that if I am going to talk about someone's disability, that I have some sort of lived knowledge of that disability. I am vision impaired, so I certainly know what it's like to be vision impaired. And now that I have epilepsy, sitting on a time bomb, as I said, does put me in a very good position to understand those who have such conditions. But ultimately, I will always choose the option of being very, very positive, no matter what I am faced with. And I'm asking all of you out there who have a disability to do likewise. I've said so many times that even when you're in the darkest cave, if you're patient, if you're positive, the light will appear. Yes, it will. But you know, I also ask those in the NDIA who are trusted with the responsibility of making decisions, for goodness sake, get to know the disability that you're actually judging upon. Yeah, get to know it. Get to understand it. Know what it's like to be in that position. And ensure that that informs your decisions. Yeah, that's right. And I do accept that someone in my position, it's probably difficult to put yourself in my position. It is, but, and I'll tell you one thing that you must never, ever do. You must never, ever judge all people in the same fashion, even with the same disability. I note that in the last report, the fact that I'm an athletics coach was actually seen as a negative toward me in the provision of support. Oh, really? I mean, that is just, that's a terrible way to look at disability. I know plenty of people who are vision impaired and who do have epilepsy, who are very successful people and who are doing great things in our community. And if sitting in a corner with a towel over your head, doing nothing, is a criteria for gaining support, then we're on a slippery slope. Everyone, we truly are on a slippery slope. Because the National Disability Insurance Scheme, something which many of us fought for over many, many years, the very core of the scheme was to ensure that people with disabilities were able to be successful, were able to be equalised, were able to achieve. So I think it's extremely disappointing if that is then used against someone in terms of gaining support. Yeah, I would almost regard that as being the pinnacle of absolute ignorance. Yes, it is. If that's the way you're going to make decisions, then maybe the disability sector is not your bag. Yeah, maybe it's not. Maybe you better go and find something else to do, because that's a very poor starting point. It is and always will be. I have always looked upon disability with a positive lens. Yes, I have, and I will continue to do so. And yes, there are some disabilities, like the one I have acquired, that most definitely bring about, therefore, and some danger. And yes, I constantly live with danger now. I know that. I understand that. And I even accept that. But to then extrapolate that anything I do as a person can be used against me in terms of applying for the support that one needs when you are in a situation of having to deal with near and present danger is absurd at best and disgraceful at worst. But I think the main thing that the NDIA need to do is to look at who is making the decisions, and can they, in some way, shape or form, put themselves in someone else's position before making such a decision. And talking of the decision, do they not think that the person who has been judged upon, do they not think that we love our independence, love our me time, all that sort of stuff? Of course we do. I love my me time. I love being as independent as is humanly possible. I was dragged screaming into this notion of needing 24-hour support. I wish I didn't need it. I truly do. Because, as I said, I love my alone time. I do. But sometimes you just have to accept what is. And in fact, in accepting what is, accepting that revelation that the disability that you do have does require observation and support, in doing that, in some ways, that's the key to nullifying the threat of these seizures, because your mind is more relaxed and you can, in fact, be a stronger person. And that is what I have found. Yeah, finally I was dragged screaming into admitting that I did have an ABI, an acquired brain injury. Yeah, it took a bit of getting there, as my support workers would testify. I fought against that notion very strongly, because I have been a person who has been independent and an achiever all my life. So to be brought down to earth, having to accept such a circumstance, was not easy for someone like me. So when someone is out there making decisions upon someone like me, they should understand that it's not as if we're out there shouting from the hilltops that we want someone around 24/7. No, it's not. It's because the truth is the truth. And sometimes even people like me have to accept the truth. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to be doing now and into the future. Yes, I will be contesting the decision of the NDIA not to continue the 24/7 support. I will be, but at the same time, I'm determined, absolutely determined, against and in taking on this ABI. I'm determined to win back as much of my independence as is humanly possible. I'm not going to be reckless, but I'm definitely going to be determined. That's probably been my trait all my life. Myself and my brother, Martin, who is an incredible individual and an incredible inspiration. In fact, I'm sure we're an inspiration to one another. And other people with disabilities inspire me. They do. My lovely friend Tracy that I've been telling you about. Whoa, does she inspire me. Her disability is very different, but we carry a lot of the same attitudes. I think that's why we click so well. All right, everyone, that's been my say. I'll now hand it over for your thoughts. Yeah, mull this over, everyone. And if you would like to get in touch with me, no problem. My number in Australia is 0407 256 428, or you can look me up and get in contact with me by Facebook. I'm here at Murray Stewart in Alice Springs. So look me up and send me a note if you wish. Okay, everyone, keep putting one foot in front of another. I will catch you again very, very soon. This has been, help me out, Heather, 1,295, am I right?
I believe so.
Oh, wow, how about that? I'm on song this morning. 1,295, and it has and always will be a blind magic communications production.